is try a Cambodian beer. Cheers! It's like Budweiser. It's nice. So we've just arrived at the Cambodia Phnom Penh night market. It's perhaps not the most impressive night market that we've seen, but I guess it's more authentic. You've got a lot of locals sitting on the floor, having some food, a lot of different local stalls all selling different food. So yeah, it's really nice if you're in Phnom Penh to come and have a little look around here, and it's right near the river, which is really pretty at night. It's our first morning in Cambodia, and we've got a little truckie, which is basically like a tuk-tuk, but a little bit bigger. So this is super cute. Hi! Just arrived at the Phnom Penh Genocide Museum, which is also known as the Killing Fields here in Cambodia. We don't know that much about the history of what happened here. We know it's pretty awful, so we're going to learn all about that now. We've got some audio guides. The tour was $6, and you go around yourself with all the audio guides. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get my phone out too much to record, because I think it's going to be quite eerie and difficult to listen to and hear and see. But there are parts later on which they encourage people to share, so I will be sharing that, and I will let you know how we get on. So I'm only about 10 minutes into the audio guide. It takes you around different spots, and it's absolutely horrendous, the atrocities that happened here. You know, in the UK we learn a lot about Auschwitz and World War II, and you know, different things like that, and you know, this is really similar. It's obviously completely different, but the same awful communism and killing and just absolutely horrendous atrocities that happen to innocent people. So even though it is, you know, really heartbreaking to hear and learn about, it's so important if you're in Cambodia to understand what happened here, and not even that long ago. It was in the 1970s. So I'm about halfway through of the tour now at the Killing Fields. I'm just on the edge, and it's just mind-blowing some of the things that happened here. The audio guide, so it not only tells you all the history, but there's also a section right at the end which are snippets from people's survivor stories of what they went through here, what their families went through, the atrocities that they saw. Yeah, it's awful, and if you didn't have the audio guide and you just walked around here, you would think it's a beautiful orchard. It's a really beautiful place, but it's just so sorrowing, everything that happened here. Yeah, it's really important to learn about it and to understand the history of Cambodia. I think I will be going through this trip with a lot more insight into everything that happened here, and it's made me realise not to take things for granted. I know we have that all the time, and we have that, you know, shock reminder with losing our mum so young, but it takes some time, something like this again, to just give us that reality check, and be grateful for what we have, and that we don't have to go through all of these horrendous events that unfolded here. Been absolutely devastating. There's been some awful parts that are worse than the others. Obviously it's the Killing Fields in general that are awful, but there's like trees here which were used to kill babies. They would whack them on the head and bury them, and the tree is covered in like loads of little charms and stuff now for people that are paying their respects. There's mass graves with 400 bodies in. There's graves that had no heads, just bodies. Yeah, it's a really awful place to think what happened here. Also, when we were walking out, there's a monument which they encourage people to film and take pictures to bring awareness. So I've got my camera out for this part, and trigger warning for what's about to come up on the screen. But this is probably one of the parts that really affected us the most. I wasn't sure whether to include it or not, but I think it is important to pass the message on that if you're coming to Cambodia, you need to learn about what happened here. and to pay respects for all those that lost their lives from this horrendous event that unfolded over the years. So we're now at the S21 Genocide Museum. It's $10 each to get in, and that includes an audio guide. This place used to be a school, and it was then turned into a prison and held all of innocent Cambodian people here and tortured in the most horrendous conditions. Walking around the prison / school itself has a really eerie feel, but it's quite crazy because it's surrounded by the most beautiful little courtyards with statues, so it's such a contrast. The audio guide takes us through all the prison cells and they displayed them how they would have been, as well as all the rules, and it's just horrendous. So this used to be a school rope play system, and when it was taken over it was turned into a torture gallows where they would hang people and drop them into these kind of buckets, vases, whatever you want to call them, which were full of human waste. Yeah, it's absolutely awful. There were around 14,000 to 17,000 prisoners that were all innocent people. They were brought here, forced and abused to confess to crimes that they did not commit. These crimes were usually against Pol Pot's regime, which would mean they were then executed and buried in mass graves at the killing fields, which we visited earlier. It is believed that only 12 prisoners survived. The fact that these cells were once classrooms makes it even more chilling at the awful crimes that happened here. There were nearly 5,000 confessions that were found in this prison, all of which were false confessions that the officers forced the prisoners to write. It's just horrendous what Pol Pot and his government did during these times. As we were leaving, we couldn't believe that outside there was a survivor talking to people about his stories here. A difficult day, but so very important. Things you do to get a cheap price. This isn't a seat, I'm literally just hovered in the front. Just stopped off before we head to Camp Hart to get some food. We've got a bus and we're running low on time, so we've gone to Thai Food Spots, and it's a little stall here where they make pad Thai. So yeah, looking forward to eating something because we didn't have breakfast this morning. Oh, it looks so yummy. On the bus, and it's a tiny one. Tasha's here eating. So we've just arrived in Camp Hart. It was about 3 hours in a very tight bus, wasn't it, Reese? Yep. So we are now getting a tuk-tuk. We ordered it on Grab, but the guy was already here and he was trying to rip us off, but it's fine. So yeah, this is what we're going to fit on.
Get the bags down, get it.
With all our bags. We'll see how we get on. Bit of a tight squeeze, but we've done it. Now just Reese. So by all squishing in, we've saved £1.50 rather than just getting two. Every penny counts when you're backpacking. Every penny counts. So we've just arrived at our hostel. It was a very bumpy ride down. It's called the Bear Bungalow. It looks really cool. Looking forward to staying there. We're only here one night, but yeah, it looks pretty cool. Maybe we won't be going in the green pool. Ah, hello doggy. So in Cambodia, they have these beers here, and the top of it, when you pull it off, it has a little message, and some of them say thank you, but some of them are free beers, and I have just got a free beer. So it says here 1 can. So I'm going to go to the shop because you have to exchange them at the shop and get a free beer. So So it's been a really busy start to our Cambodia trip, but tomorrow we're heading to Koh Rong Island, which I'm super excited to go and explore the island. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. I know it was a bit more of a difficult one this time, but I really appreciate you sticking along with the journey. If you don't know already, I'm Nicole. I'm currently traveling the world. I'm living extra for my mum, who I lost last year, and it would mean the world to me if you could hit subscribe to my channel, as that means I'm one step closer to making my dream of traveling a reality. Thank you so much. Catch you next time.